Hello.
Hello? Is anyone out there?
Is anything going on? Chris, we need to switch to... This is out of control.
We didn't plug in the soundboard.
God.
That could be why it is awkward AF out there.
Welcome to Airstreamers.
Oh
where
my God.
You never know what stream we'll ride. Oh my, I can't even. This is like hysterical. Welcome, everyone. Yes, we were day drinking, and it was lovely. I ended up just taking a nap for about 10 minutes, and it was glorious. We had a wonderful, wonderful day with friends. We can't wait to share all of our stories. And we had many beers and things across
Oh my God,
the course
Leah's
of the day.
on.
Yeah, Leah said so many beers. We had so many different drinks available to us throughout the course of the day. And we really have been slowly moving along with our drinking all day. So it's been a long time. We ate a lot. The best crumb cake I have ever had in my whole life.
Oh my God, it was so good. It was like the perfect crumb cake. It's like crumb cake should be what its name says. Like it should just be called crumb. I just want a piece of crumb because there's literally nobody wants the cake in it. Everybody just wants a ton of crumb.
Is there such a thing as crumb cheesecake?
I don't know, but that is a good idea.
So welcome all. Thank you for joining us on this lovely and beautiful Saturday night. It's a bit chilly here at home. We have the windows open and it's lovely. So yeah, I legit had such a fun day today, and I'm so glad we got to see our friends. It felt like another normal day.
We're getting there.
Our friend Danielle, we mentioned on our stream yesterday, we'll talk about her bike ride situation.
That's a whole lot to unpack.
Yeah.
That's going to be Danielle. I hope you're not tuning in tonight.
I hope that she is tuning in tonight. Total confidence boost.
Well, I mean, we don't want to just talk about her and make her feel like we're putting her experience on the spot.
I literally said to Danielle, you are the focus of our stream tonight. So she's very well prepared. So
Crumb cheesecake.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm interested in this. I saw cheesecake and I'm like on it. It's like laser eyes right to the chat.
Oh my God.
Crumb cheesecake sounds like the VHS I hid from my parents in high school.
Hysterical. Crumb cheesecake. I want to turn that into a thing.
So I just want to say this because I feel like if I speak about it, I'll be less crazy.
Oh, I thought you were throwing something into the universe.
No, I mean, I do. I just regularly put things out into the universe. But I am stuffed to the gills. I am so full, like from everything we ate, what we drank. My stomach is saying I never want to eat again, but I could eat something.
But then his mind is like,
I'm like, I could,
cake.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
in
like,
the microwave.
I could still go for like a bite. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with the human body?
I'm saying microwave because you might think it's weird that like our crumb cake is in the microwave, but we use the microwave as storage for things the muskrats shouldn't eat. And so you will find a plethora of things in the microwave, like pita chips or loose high chews or crumb cake or things. So whenever you need to use our microwave, it's annoying AF because we have to pull like a million things out and then put them back in. So,
geez, Leanne did 31 miles today.
Holy moly.
Holy cow. Congrats. I was not that productive. I ran before we went for the bike ride. The bike ride was short. So I don't really think that was much of like what was it, 2 miles? It was not 31 miles.
Today was
3 miles.
Yeah, well, we need to talk about it today, but we need to talk about a couple things. So the plan for tonight is that we definitely don't have a plan, and who knows where in the world we're going to end up. But our loose, what happened?
No, I'm just stopping the song from the broken start to this quiet stream.
Our loose plan is that we are going to start shortly with Wine O'Clock because I need to get some wine. Then share some stories. And then do our very first giveaway ever. And I'm super pumped.
Let's see how it goes. We're going to run it.
Yeah.
And hope that it works. But I mean, considering how we started off the stream today, where we literally didn't plug in the soundboard and you guys were all just sitting in a quiet room together as we're getting
Everyone was
ready.
like,
everyone's like, this is weird. Except I think that's how we did it at the beginning.
Yeah, which actually, to be honest, makes me happy that the music is what it is. It's doing
identifiable.
what it's intending to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it is awkward, I think. Just sitting there like staring at a screen like, you know, like when you're in a Zoom call at work, at least, and it's like you just have like people who are friendly and you just like can chat with them and it's like not awkward while you're waiting for everybody to gather. But then you have other people who are like, I know this is going to be awkward awkward AF. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well just wait until everybody else gets here. And then I just go on mute and I'm just typing and doing my thing because I know it's going to be weird. Like the small talk.
I used to do that with my students when it got like strange, when it was like 1-on-1, like me and the student or me and like 2 students. And I'm waiting for them to join up. So then I would say like, oh, like just hang tight for some more folks to join us and blah, blah, blah. And then, so don't get excited about the giveaway. It is cute and whatever. I'm not going to announce it yet, but today is more of a demo to see if what we have planned works, because if it does, cool. If it doesn't, then we need to figure it out. So we don't have anything like big planned for tonight.
Leah. So Kitty got her second vaccine and the nurse said no wine o'clock today.
Oh no.
And Leah's saying you don't need that type of negativity in your life. Oh my God. Welcome to the family, Leah.
Kitty San, just so you know, Leah, it was her birthday last May, and it was in the thick of COVID times, and
like totally the thick of
it was bad. It was like no one was
like
allowed.
Toilet paper.
Yeah. Like no one could. Everyone was scared to even like open their door, And so what Leah did was she brought food, right? No, wine. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was the cutest thing.
She brought food for us.
It was the cutest.
The cheese stuff.
Yeah, it was like in like a cute little like gift bag, and it had like all of her like she picked different cheeses and cut them up and divided them up among the friends. Brought wine.
And then we filled in
and then there was a menu too of like the tastings.
So
it was fantastic.
I'm saying all of this because on that same day,
charcuterie board, you maniac. Right, we're like cheese, it's like cheese things. And stuff and whatever.
So I'm saying all this because at that time, Chris had gotten LASIK, right? Early in the morning.
Oh, we didn't. Did you post a picture on the?
Of what?
On the
No, it's in my note. No, I'm delayed. There's a lot going on. You need to
work your job, Elias.
Do you understand that from 9 o'clock this morning we have been socializing? We have socialized today for the year that we've missed out on. So that's what we've been doing. All I'm trying to get to is Chris got LASIK and was out of commission, drooling basically, and woke up after a long nap.
Do you know why? Because they
Can
were
I
like,
finish my story?
No, I'm just want to just paint the picture of why I was drooling. I mean, I wasn't really drooling, but they were like, they said to me, they gave me half of Valium, I think it was Valium that they gave me,
because you need to not move your eye. And how do you not move your eye when someone tells you like?
Well, they exaggerate it. I think they scare you more. I mean, it's literally a split second.
No, Katie, I'm not. Chris wasn't drooling. I'm exaggerating. In case you don't know, I do that.
So I they give me the half of the Valium, and then I'm sitting there and waiting, and you're just sitting there in like in the office, and they're like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "Okay," and they're like, "Well, do you want like a second one?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh." So I took the second one. I probably didn't need the second one, but then I feel like the second one didn't kick in until after the procedure was done. And so then I'm sitting there waiting for Elias to pick me up. And it's literally in the midst of like the end of times. I'm sitting in this by myself because I'm the only person who's getting LASIK during a pandemic. I'm sitting there waiting, and I have like my mask on. Now I've got my eye guards on, so they're taped to my face to protect my eyes. And Elias comes and like picks me up, and I like stumble down the stairs, and he drove home. That drive home was like a time warp for me. That is missing. I don't.
Crazy, crazy, crazy times. And Chris, I'm like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" And he's like, he's speaking another language. I mean, it was really bad. But all of this to say is that he then took a nap when he got home, post drooling, post just ridiculousness. Leah mentioned zombie Chris, all of this. And then he woke up and we had Leah's party and he joined and got plastered. So all I'm trying to say is Kitty San or whoever it was, do you. So the COVID vaccine will work whether you drink or not.
I was scared too, MCon, but it was totally worth it. I would do it a million times over.
Chris still talks about every day.
Every day. It's over a year ago and I still talk about it.
So
what do you think? Wine o'clock?
Yeah, let's start with that because we're gonna share some stories. Leanne, I was videoing and laughing the whole time, so I need to find out. Leah, if you're watching, can you just find the date of the photo and when that was, so that it'll be easier for me to look it up later? Because I don't think it was on your birthday, was it? I think it was a weekend.
It was a little bit later, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to be doing Wine O'Clock today. This wine that you are seeing on the middle between me and Chris is called True Myth. It's a cab and it says Paso Robles down at the bottom. I don't know anything about this other than when I walked in.
I thought that a Paso Roble was a dance.
Paso Doble.
Oh.
That's dance.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's
Paso
a place.
Robles is a place. Oh, I didn't know that. It's called True Myth, and what drew me to it was, aside from the like little thing that comes out of me like in Donnie Darko, was the fact that True Myth is totally like an oxymoron, right? So
nobody recommended this to you? It was just
no, we were like, I had a crunch time this morning, and so I really needed to just do the thing and get out. So, yeah, totally. Beach, please. Love that.
Eloise, you're gonna. She's gonna clean herself off the muskrat cam.
So anyway, it also says her secret is patience, which I think is really, really interesting because it's right below the lips of this woman. So like, there's a sexuality to this.
Wait, we're
sexual nature.
Bella's
to this.
saying we're saying it wrong. It's Pasa what?
We don't know how to pronounce anything.
Hey, Bobby.
Who? Oh, Bella
Good evening
saying
from Vegas.
Hi, Bobby. I hope that it's Paso Robles I'm saying wrong rather than like True Myth. Is it Paso Robles? You know, what is it? So let's see. True Myth, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience, says Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's from, Paso Robles, California. Is it Paso Robles? Robles? Oh, that's weird. Mother Nature's intriguing and elusive, reigning with grace and beauty.
Wait, didn't you say that they were talking about it in the wine store and they called it Paso Robles?
No, that was just me.
Oh, okay.
Mother Nature's intriguing and elusive, reigning with grace and beauty. There's no doubt that she is the one true myth. Oh, Mother Nature. We respect her for the enigma that she is and honor her with this beautifully smooth Cabernet Sauvignon, loaded with blackberry, cherry, cola flavors, and notes of caramelized oak. Taste and believe.
Cola flavor. What is that?
No idea.
I don't think that cola is like a naturally occurring flavor.
Yeah, no idea. But that's what it is. Her secret, Mother Nature, is her. All right, do you. Pour, hand me. I'm drinking. Kitty San, if you also look at the bottle in between me and Chris, like in the video, we have a picture of it, so it's that one right there. I don't think that this wine is Canadian. Robles, Bliss, but the butterfly bottle.
I'm calling it now. There's gonna be a wine o'clock where I spill this all over myself.
And all over the soundboard.
No, the soundboard doesn't even work because we don't plug it in.
Okay, so I'm smelling oak.
Do you smell Coca-Cola?
And cola and Mother Nature is what I'm smelling.
I feel like we need to get special wine glasses for this segment.
Can you smell it for me? Like, smell yours? I'm not getting much of a smell. Right?
Yeah, I don't have a strong smell. Like,
Ooh.
I feel like
Whoa.
your first glass, you always cough and
Holy moly.
act like you're gonna die.
I also learned the Santa Cruz locals' way of saying it. I'm a reformed Yinzer from Pittsburgh. None of those words mean anything to me.
It's a little sharp when you first drink it, though. Is that a thing?
Lana, the past few weeks, we've only been doing these nights. This is our wine for the week. So 3 bottles. All right, so listen, it's really sharp. I don't know if that's a word to describe wine.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think it is sharp.
It's a lot. Like, it's like an explosion in your mouth. Pause. Nothing?
What?
Jeez. I said it's like an explosion in your mouth. Pause.
I'm thinking about my rating, and I think I'm ready for my rating.
I think I'm ready too. You do you. I'm not going to look at the screen and then I'll do me.
This is, again,
Gwyneth Paltrow vibes.
One thing that we found is that wine tastes better as it goes on. So, again, understand that all of these ratings are from the point of view of when we've
First
started it.
At the end of it all, I'll probably say all the wines like are a 7, you know? So.
And again, this is out of 7 muskrats.
I am voting this.
Oh, wow. Elias, I think this is the first time that you've rated something higher than me.
Yeah, I think so. And Heidi, I've said that too. About rating before and after.
I think it's just, I feel like when I don't like my wines to be super sharp like this, that it's like, it almost stings the moment that you taste it. And
that's why I got so shocked from it. And Leah, yes, you're more than welcome. All right, are we moving away from wine o'clock?
Oh my God. Wait, Leah,
happened?
that's on May 18th. That's right by your birthday.
Oh my goodness.
But listen, Leah, you tell us the date and we will accommodate you.
Yes, for
and
sure.
And Leah can be our first guest on Airstreamers.
For live.
We can just test all the wines.
No,
and just
Sue will forever be our first guest on Airstreamers. Whether live or not, Sue is our guinea pig.
Okay,
let's
well,
move
that's
away
a wrap
from that. there's that, the end of that song. Okay, so this wine, it's like,
I mean, you just have to drink the first bit faster so that the beginning ends sooner.
Jesus. Maybe I should have given it a 3. It's like, it's just a lot.
Yeah, I don't. How much alcohol is this? Did you look?
Is it rubbing alcohol?
14.2.
That's less than yesterday.
Sulfites. I'm tasting the sulfites.
Oh, that's what it is that I'm tasting. We're ridiculous. So what I want to talk about today for a moment is an experience that I had with one of the first times. This is going to get a little bit sort of heavy out of the gate, but this is what I planned on talking about from a couple of days ago based off of a Discord conversation that we had. And if you're not joined on Discord, at some point, Body McBotface will come on and give you the link that you need to join the Discord. And in the Discord, if you're unfamiliar with the app of Discord, it's really just like a huge chat room, essentially, with different topics and things. And at one point, we were talking about what's her face with the yogurt? Demi Lovato and her frozen yogurt fiasco. And if you are unfamiliar with that, I will sum it up that Demi Lovato went into a frozen yogurt shop and freaked the F out when it said something about enjoy this in, guilt-free yogurt, because it triggered her. And so she went nuts on Instagram and then apologized for saying the things that she said about feeling triggered through all of that. So then on Discord,
nobody comes between me and my desserts.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
I am here for all the desserts, and nobody should be triggered by a dessert.
So then the conversation was led into what is the word trigger. Did it become something different than it ever was? What do corporations have to do versus people? Like, that's where I think the conversation was talking about. It was more like, should corporations be changing stuff, or should people not be going to the things that they feel trigger them? That was the conversation. So that made me think of a moment in my life where I experienced something that has ultimately created an environment in my mind that can be triggered. And that's sort of essentially what I want to chat about today, for this segment at least. So FYI, if you are triggered by anything relating with like anxiety, and even hearing people talk about their anxiety issues triggers you, just be aware that this is what I'm going to be talking about for the next little bit. And so some of the conversations that we had on Discord were about whether or not the word is overused or things like that. And I think that to some degree it has just come into public eye more readily because of how many people have been posting their own anxiety issues and things too. So I just want to share one of my own stories that happened. That doesn't deal with a business. It's relating to Broadway. So, not sure if they changed it, but in the summer they definitely were allowing family members to visit. Oh, that's something unrelated.
Yeah, I think Alana, talking about Demi's thing, like, I think she was putting a lot of that on the small business for having these offerings for people with diabetes who maybe couldn't have sugar
and gluten-free stuff,
or gluten-free if they had celiac disease. So they had like offerings for everybody, but they also had the sweet offerings, of course, like because they're a friggin' ice cream shop.
Yeah, literally, like that's.
And
what you're
so
going
I think
to eat there.
her coming after with her fan base for a small business who's absolutely suffering during COVID times, that was kind of like, that's not really like, that's not a good move.
I'm sure she was trying to get publicity. I spy some Chris legs. Yeah, you better be careful. Something's gonna
Oh my
fall
God.
out. Diet for dietary restrictions, like dairy free too. Yeah, exactly. I think I saw, Leah, you wrote earlier that it was the word diet that like threw her. And I'm not discrediting what she may have felt. I think she felt those feelings, obviously, but I think she's working through something. And this isn't me not defending Demi Lovato. I'm just saying that she's obviously suffering from something right now and she needs some help. And I don't think that taking down a small business owner is the right path for her help. And so what my story is nothing to do with that, but it definitely deals with an anxiety moment. Which was one of the first major causes for me to sort of go and seek help for anxiety, based off of what went down this one fateful night. So I remember this all as if it was yesterday, and me talking about these feelings that I'm going to share with you are going to likely make me feel away, for sure, because it's still all so crazy. I shouldn't use the word crazy. What went down was very traumatic for me. Yes. So what had happened was we were offered, what I thought were front row seats to see a Broadway show with our two friends. So the four people in the story are me, Chris, Melissa, and Sue. And maybe I should lie down while you tell this. So the four of us went to see this Broadway show in the city called Spring Awakening. Because of this story, I will just start by saying that is the worst show I have ever seen. Hearing the name of it makes me feel weird.
Eliza's taking down Broadway shows now.
And
is it still on?
No. And we were offered from Melissa and Sue. They have like all the connections.
But it's not unrealistic to get
a
a cheap ticket for a Broadway show because you can put in for a lottery.
Yeah.
And then the lottery gives you like primo seats for super cheap. And it's a way for them to kind of like give back to the community for people who can't afford to go to a good Broadway, like a good seat in a Broadway show. So, getting these tickets for super cheap wasn't really unexpected. Like it could have just been that they won the lottery and we were going with them.
Right.
Under the expectation that it was a lottery seat.
Meg, that's awesome. Isn't that wonderful? That's so great to hear. That she just came back from dinner.
Oh my God, isn't it? It's an amazing feeling, honestly. I mean, like COVID has made me find a new appreciation for life.
For sure, yeah. So Broadway is not open. They're attempting to be fully open by fall, but
when was it? Like, what year was this? This was, I mean, I was probably in grad school because we wouldn't have been able to afford like good tickets for Broadway.
Right, which is one of the reasons. It was early on in our relationship, and it was one of the. I would probably wager that it was like 2009 or 10 or maybe something like that. And so we went. And what I didn't know was that these were not front row seats. These were on stage seats. So if you've never been to a Broadway show, I need to just paint the picture for you. Okay. So these are, for the people who are like in it, these are religious moments. Okay. Like you go there, you pay a lot of money to sit back and watch a show. The performance is top tier, unless it's like a really bad circumstance with like the show not being good or whatever. But for the most part, you're getting the best of everything, you know? And so if you've never experienced a Broadway show like in person, it's really, really, really phenomenal. It's unlike anything else you've ever seen. Something like Hamilton, Wicked, amazing. Okay.
So, no, I mean, and it's really incredible to think that they are doing this, putting this show on every night and acting and conveying emotion to people who are so far away from them. Like you have to be over the top in your expressions to really convey that to people who have seats all the way in the back, and they still manage to do it.
Yep.
And the notes are always on point. Like their songs are like recording level material, and
All
so
the
it's
time,
like
every single day. Oh my
it's
God, Danielle said 2007.
totally a thing.
Holy moly.
Oh my
that's so
God, was it
crazy.
2007?
That was, you still stayed with me after this experience.
Well, I mean, you stayed with me after I had like
Poop demons?
diarrhea explosion in Santa Barbara.
This is true. So someone earlier said, wait, on stage? Like, what is that? So let me paint the picture here. So we are walking up to the stage and towards the stage. And in my mind, it's like we're going to be sitting on the stage or on the front row. And then we walk onto the stage. And Melissa kind of was like, oh, yeah, you know, they're on stage or whatever. Like, I don't know if maybe she knew that I would be freaked out by this at this moment. So she didn't say anything until like we got there. It's like, surprise.
I don't think that's like a thing you just throw on someone.
I
mean,
just
it's
didn't
like,
understand.
No, I mean, like that. I feel like that should have been full disclosure. We need like full disclosure. These are the requirements for these tickets.
Right, which maybe they were. We didn't buy them. They were just handed to us. Maybe they were, and we were never told that.
No, but who's not telling? Like the
Melissa.
Oh, I'm saying like the people who like the ticket. What is it? A Ticketmaster? No, like
The ticket agent or
Ticketmaster
whatever.
is a company.
Totally worst surprise ever. So we get onto the stage, and now the stage is like, here's the stage. So pretend that like on this side is 2 rows of seats, and then on this side is 2 rows of seats. And I want to say that it was like, let's say 10 and 10, and then 10 and 10. So it's like 40 total seats or whatever. Okay. And we find our spots on these seats, and the seats are facing inward. So the action is going on here, and then the audience is viewing from like here, like the way you all are viewing, right? So from what I just painted for you, I'm sitting somewhere like right here, and I'm with Melissa, and Chris is sitting over here with Sue. Okay. So that's how it's happening. And we're all looking in this way.
I
Like
can
into
tell
the
you
middle.
during that whole show, I sat there with a stick up my ass because I felt like I was so afraid to just move.
Well, yeah. So this is now the beginnings of a lot. So not all shows have this, MCon. Very few, in fact, have something
I don't
like
know
this.
if there's another show
The
that does
reason
this.
why this show did this is because it's a part of the show, and like the visual and the aesthetic and like the fact that some of the people, we were watching it sideways. Some of the people who sat in these double rows were actually actors who were in the show. And so the whole point was like the surprise moment of like this person randomly coming up and like dancing, doing their thing, and then coming and sitting back down right next to you. So we as audience members became a part of the show. Okay. Now, like Chris said about having a stick up his ass, when we first walked up and sat down, a very militaristic woman spoke very militaristically and was like, okay, so you're going to sit down. These are the rules. If you're cold, put a jacket on. If you're hot, take your jacket off. If you are holding your playbill, please put it down. Don't cough, don't sneeze, wait till intermission to move. If you are uncomfortable with how you're sitting, please adjust yourself now so that you don't end up causing a scene on stage, blah, 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 blah. In the event of an emergency, she says, there is an emergency exit in the back of the stage on stage right, which is like if you're looking at the stage on the right side of the stage. I don't know if I did that wrong. But the point is, she said only in the event of a true emergency, kind of implying like if a member of your family's dead or something, do not dare stand up at all during the show. Just wait till intermission.
Yeah, like you can't. Sam and Watson, I agree. Like you can't control whether or not you're going to cough or sneeze or any of that. And it's like, that makes me want, like, I feel like I already have to cough when you tell me I don't cough.
Literally, the moment you say it. Danielle posted saying Leah Michelle and Jonathan Groff were in that show.
Did we see Jonathan Groff?
I think we may have seen Jonathan Groff. I don't think we saw Leah Michelle.
I don't know who Leah
And
Michelle
Danielle
is.
has one of the funniest and most awkward photos of Jonathan Groff, like her hugging Jonathan Groff. I'm writing that down as a reference point. Danielle, hopefully you'll let me post that photo to Airstreamers.
MCon, yeah,
it's
you
so good.
can't enjoy it because first of all, you're looking at it from a perspective, the show, you're
That it's
looking
not
at it
like
from
design.
that it's not meant to be looked at. I can't tell you what the show was about, and I don't remember any of it because I feel like I was so worried about not messing up this show for everybody who paid a lot of money for it, then that I didn't take anything in. It was just like, when is the curtain call? When is this over? I want this to be done.
Right. Okay, so now the show starts. Oh,
Thanks for
Doggy Pop.
subscribing, doggy.
I appreciate it. Now we are at 33 or 34 subscriptions. Remember, up at 50 is when we get our new emote spot. So if the month has lapsed, so if you're near the end of your month or like it has lapsed, you can do it on Amazon with the Prime subscription.
Oh, look at everybody
So-
with the sub who's using emotes and saying thanks back.
Love it.
That's so cute.
Yeah, no way can you enjoy. So at this point, I am already stressed. Okay. Like, I'm uncomfortable because I don't know. I can't control my body. I can't control what's about to happen. What if I do need to sneeze? Whatever it was, right? So the show starts and it's fine. I'm not paying attention. I'm doing the whole Chris, like, when is this over? When can I go home kind of thing. And I felt like an eternity passed. Okay. I felt like 45 days have passed. I completed a full round of Survivor on that show. And I'm like, okay, I certainly feel like at this point, my business made its first $1 this week. I can spend it again. No more bank account jail, just severe probation for now. Oh,
Congratulations.
That's awesome. The show was Spring Awakening. I shudder when I say it, when I hear it. And I was certain that we must be coming up on, on intermission. And I started needing to pee. And so I can't look at my playbill, and the playbill is like the little booklet thing that they give you. So I can't do that. So at this point, I'm like uncertain about where we are in the show. I don't know the show off the top of my head. Like, I sometimes know them. And so like, I'm like, all right, we have 3 more songs before.
This was the only
intermission.
time we saw it, right? We didn't see it
Yeah.
before this.
And so I happened to glance over in the back of the stage, and they had, as a part of the decorations, a set list. So it said like Act 1, these songs, and then Act 2, these songs. And it was big enough that I was able to see where we were. And the song they were singing, whatever it was, that's where I realized we were. And it was only like a third of the way through Act 1. All right.
The first part is normally longer than the second part, right?
I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. It is what it is. Who knows? So Jody said, I got to see Groff in the original cast of Hamilton on Broadway. I can't believe how many people didn't pay attention. Yeah. We also saw the original cast and Jonathan Groff. And when I tell you that I was laser focused, I could not tell you what anyone else was doing in that theater. I was zoned
oh my
in
God, it was so good.
to that. So once I saw that we were about a third of the way through Act 1, and I'm doing the sort of like mental math about how I don't think I'm going to be able to hold in my pee for like another who knows how long, you know. I didn't know what to do, and I start getting a little bit anxious. You know, palms sweating. All I'm thinking about is this, and oh, thanks, Katie.
Aw, thanks, Katie.
That's so sweet of you. Look at that. 2 people in 2 minutes. And so then again, I'm like, what do I do? How do I handle this? And I'm like trying to do what I think I'm told to do, you know, like through movies and stuff. So, holy moly.
Oh my God, Leah, we
Thanks,
are
Leah.
on the hype train now.
Oh, snap.
Of course, Leah. Of course, Leah's sub would bring the hype train in.
Of course. So what the hype train means is that you can use sub gifts or use bits to get to the next level. So if anyone else subscribes, or if anyone else gifts a subscription, or if anyone else uses the bits that you buy, that's like money, that will move us up through the hype train level, which I think what it does is it puts our channel more front and center in the Twitch like live feed thing. You know, like if someone just goes to twitch.tv.
So if your Amazon Prime subscription ended, just you can use that and you can resub. Now's a good time to do it. Mm-hmm. So we're a third of the way into the
so we're a third of the way into the show. I'm losing my mind at the thought about what how am I going to handle the rest of it. And so what ended up happening was I stopped watching. Things got a little blurry. Things got a little bit slow moving. And I had realized in this moment, and the camel, what is it? The last straw that broke the camel's back for me was that a whole lot of fog appeared as a part of the scene at the bottom of the stage, like where our feet were, covering the whole stage. So everything looked really ethereal. And so now for my brain to be doing this, which is like the slowness, the fogginess, the dizziness, and to see the fog, the physical fog there, set me off, right? This was the trigger. Like this exact set of circumstances was the trigger for me to go into a full-fledged, legitimate panic attack. And I turned to Melissa and I said to her out loud, I'm having a panic attack. And she says, oh, are you okay? Like, what do you do? You know, what is anyone supposed to say in that moment, right? So thanks, Mega Meg.
Aw, thanks, Mega Meg.
We are moving on.
Chewing along on the hype train.
We are on level 2. The last time we were on a hype train, we made it to level 3. So let's see if we can move on past that. And Katie gifted a tier to NANC15.
Oh, you guys are the sweetest.
You are all so sweet.
Can't.
I love you all so much. So at this rate, I'm never going to tell the story, and I'm excited because I hate this part of the story. But I think it's important.
Well, I think it's important to talk about, and we've got a good audience. We've got really good people here. So,
guess what I did? Aw, Sophia was here gifting a sub tier to Airstreamers community. It's their first gift sub in the channel to Doggy7. I can't. You're all so cute.
Oh my God.
Total safe space. I just want you all to know, like, this is a very private story that I feel very comfortable sharing with all of you because I feel like it is something that very few people talk about in regards to mental health and mental health awareness. And I don't mind sharing this as long as it can help someone.
Bella's insistent that you peed on stage.
No, I did not pee or puke. But listen to what happened. I stood up in the middle of the Broadway show performance and I pushed actors out of the way and made my way to the back of the stage wherever this emergency exit was. And there was a drummer, like a percussionist there.
What was it, the pit down there, or were they going to the pit?
No, it was like part of the pit was in the back. The pit is the group of musical instrument people. And I look at him and I say, I need to get off the stage now. Okay. And he looks at me like, what? You know, he has his headset and he's like, what? And then a random person appeared, like another actor. And I look at them and I'm like, I need to get off the stage now. And they were like, you can't be back here. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I need to get off the stage now. I was told there's an emergency exit back here. And so someone overheard, and domino effect or whatever made me find whoever
Did
it
the
was.
military woman come in and like,
I don't think she was there.
oh, she was
I think they
fuming in
were
her
all-
office. She was writing emails to everybody like, the show needs to change. It doesn't work this way.
Yeah, right. So I find whoever it was who was going to help me. They opened a mysterious door, which I'm telling you, it was the slimmest. I don't even know if it was a trap door that I went through. But I said to them I needed to go to the bathroom like now. So a little tiny door that was no joke. I mean, I needed to practically squeeze through like sideways is what happened. And I exited that stage scenario. I ran to the bathroom and very bad things came out of me from multiple different areas. And I looked at the mirror afterwards and I was not kidding. I was like a shade of green, like a really like zombie looking shade of green. So Bella's saying I'm literally stressing out for life so much that I just placed an order for vodka on Instacart. I'm not kidding. So listen, this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm sharing this with you. I hope this doesn't trigger anyone because I know that these feelings are very real. And for me personally, if I hear someone sharing a story like this, what my brain does to do, chooses to do is put myself back in specifically this setting that we were in. And I kind of immediately feel the feelings. So this happened, diarrhea. I didn't throw up, I don't think. But I peed as well. And I looked at myself. I was green. I splashed water on myself, and then like started sort of settling down. And then I went, and there was like an empty seat in the back somewhere, and I just sat in the back somewhere. And then from Chris's perspective, all of a sudden, curtain raises, the lights come on, and I'm missing. Like
no, even more than that. Sue and I were sitting on like. I'm sitting there like totally straight faced, like looking forward, like cannot move because that's what military woman told me to do.
By the way, 13 seconds left for any hype train movement, either buying a sub, gifting a sub, or using bits. Oh, we're 5 seconds left. I doubt we're moving on to level 2.
And so,
or level 3.
I'm sitting there just looking. Yeah, hype train success.
Oh,
Thank you all.
We received a level 1 hype train emote. How cute. Such strong support. Level 1 completed. You are all so cute. Oh, awesome,
thanks,
Lumi. Thank you. You are all too sweet.
So we're sitting there. I'm looking with Sue, and I see Elias get up. From my perspective, I see Elias get up and like again, like kind of shoving his way back to the back of the stage. And I turn to Sue and I'm like,
oh, wow. Chris, there's a lot of gifting going on right now.
aw. We're probably going to get to,
even.
oh my God, Jody. I see so many of you guys gifting subs all around.
So cute.
I didn't
Amber, have her join us. And tell her to follow us, Leah, if she doesn't. I didn't even think of that. Look at this. This is phenomenal. You are all so cute.
Who are we calling out?
I've lost it. I don't even know who it is.
Jody's
anymore.
gifting to Beach
Jody
Please and to Sandy Cat. Jody, thank you so much.
Who needs a sub and how can I gift? I don't know how you gift. I think that if you go to twitch.tv/airstreamers at the bottom where it says subscribe, you could choose to gift instead in that purple icon and that purple thing.
Aw, you guys are all so sweet to each other. What a great community
You're
we
all
have here.
so wonderful. So where did you?
I was just saying. I mean, how I saw from this perspective is like you getting up and shoving your way to backstage, and me and Sue kind of
Wait, you saw that?
Yeah, because Sue and I were sitting side by side each other, and I remember just turning to Sue.
Oh, Amber's. That's Amber. Thanks, Amber.
Hey, thanks, Amber. And turning to Sue and being like, what is going on? Because I couldn't compute. Like in my mind, I feel like I was given direction and I need to follow that direction until I would die on that stage.
You would
before I
still be
move.
there. If
I would
if
still
that
be there.
Lady didn't let you leave.
If that military woman said to me, "You need to sit on the stage," I would be like, "Okay, well, I'm here, and this is it."
So after intermission, me, Chris, Sue, and Melissa all meet up again. We found each other somewhere. By like by the bar or something. I just went to like the concession stand.
It's just chugging back beers.
No, I was not drinking at all, for sure. And thanks, Bella, for gifting
Bella,
a
thank
sub.
you.
So sweet. I'm so engrossed in the story that I have no idea what is happening in the chat. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the chat, and it's hard to keep up, but it's wonderful. You're all so special. So then we catch up with everyone, and I tell them, I'm like, I'm not going back up on stage. I'm sitting back here. And Peach Please has gifted a sub.
That's
You're
like a
just
pay it
wonderful.
forward situation. How cute is that?
Totally.
You know, that's
Yeah.
like when you go to Starbucks and you get the person in front of you pays and then you
Yeah.
pay back to somebody else.
Yeah.
You guys
yeah.
are adorable.
Literally.
I
mean,
I
it's
can't
like
stand
you,
it.
I didn't think that this day could be any more enjoyable. And yet here we are. So I said to them, I'm like, I'm not sitting up there at all. I'm sitting in the back. There was like a random empty seat, whatever. I think you all went back to the stage, and I sat in the back.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Did you sit next to me?
I was like, I think Sue went back to the stage because Sue is like, I mean, Sue is Sue and she likes the experience of things. Like she is all about that. When that opportunity opened and there were seats in the back.
You were like, I was like, to go sit with my boyfriend. Bye.
Bye, Felicia. I am going and I am sitting in the back by Elias. And I sat the second half of the show. I sat back by you. Comforting you, of course.
Yeah,
that's why I went and sat back there, because I needed to comfort Elias.
Exactly. We need to do two things, Chris. We need to get a muskrat, which is cheddar, and also we need to give them muskrat love. I'll do the muskrat love stuff after I share my story.
I can get cheddars right here. I can grab them.
So Chris wouldn't have left you. He was probably so excited that I had a panic attack. Which I'm kidding. He definitely did not. Oh, thanks, Salmon Watson, for gifting a sub to MCon. Literally, this is just a big pay it forward situation that's going on. Cheddar. So I finished the show, hated it, hated it. But I realized in that moment, I'm like, what in the world just happened? You know, why did I feel what I'm feeling? That's just not what I expected to happen in my day. And it scared me to think about what can happen again in the future. When can that come on? Why is my body doing that? You know? So this was a big catalyst for me to decide to go and speak to my doctor and just tell him, like, this is what happened to me. This is what I went through. And what can I do to sort of help that? Because it's been something that I guess I've been struggling with my whole life, not necessarily knowing exactly what it is I'm struggling with and how I'm struggling with it. Like, there's a lot, you know?
No, yeah, I think it's important to talk about it and for it to be okay to talk about it.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I'm even bringing it up now. So, over the course of many, many years, I feel like I have seen an incredible emotional growth. Thanks, The Naughty Game, for following. Welcome to our channel. And I feel like I feel like I've grown emotionally and mentally
grown
a lot. And that's throughout the help of like doctors and therapists and like all sorts of stuff. And the reason I'm talking about this is because having gone through what I don't even consider to be like that much sort of badness.
No, but I mean, I think it's not a competition for it to be badness.
Right.
I think that's what you need to understand, is that it's not a competition for this situation is worse than this situation, because like I feel like anything that makes you feel uncomfortable or bad is a bad situation.
Exactly.
And you don't have to compare it to anybody else or anything else that anybody else has gone through.
I really love that you're saying that. And I agree with that. But I think a big problem we all have, or an obstacle that we face, is this idea that we do sometimes either inflate our issues or like put down our issues. Like, is it enough? Is it too much? Or whatever the case might be. I think we're all naturally, that way.
Yeah, MCon, I think that like there is a generation that didn't like talk about this. Even now, I think there are a lot of people who probably would think that it's like there's a stigma to talk about it, but I think that kind of makes the situation harder because it's something that's hard to talk about and something that's hard to verbalize, and then that makes it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing.
And so Bella said, damn, if that was your worst panic attack, I feel like a complete psycho. I actually have more that had happened, but we tend to minimize. That's the word I was looking for. But this was the catalyst. The important part of the story was this was the moment in which I decided I want to take control of these emotions and like figure out what's going on. And again, through the help of my primary doctor and through my therapist, I feel like I have grown exponentially over the course of time. And like, in a way, I'm grateful to be able to stand here and say that, and have that conversation with you all who are all like strangers and yet family at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So, point of all of this is, if in any way something isn't right, you have the ability to make a change in it.
Oh, did you see Heidi grew up? Her stepdad was a psychologist and her mom was a counselor, so she's all about mental health.
Oh my God. That. Can you scroll up a little bit, Chris? Because I feel like I just missed a few of the messages. It's like comparing grief. At the end of the day, it all feels the same regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys are all awesome, and these are all important things to talk about. I mean, the takeaway from this is that we're both banned from Broadway for different reasons. Elias, because he interrupted the show and came off the stage. Me, because I demanded that I have a seat above the mezzanine because I was not about the heights.
Thanks for following, Nikki MKS. Welcome to Airstreamers.
In Beauty and the Beast. So literally both of us, they're like, no, this doesn't work for us. This doesn't fit our fantasy. Like, thank you, next.
Literally. Wait, Lana had said something. Last year was so hard on me. My depression, that my anxiety was at max, and I didn't know it fully how worried my family was about me. I started having suicidal thoughts, not where I would hurt myself, but more like what would happen if I crashed in the freeway or if someone crashed into me. Yeah, I mean, listen, these things are all very real things that not one of us, not two of us, but millions of us feel. And it is totally okay to go and get support and help for it, And I think that there's something to be said about just having that conversation out loud with an audience, whether that audience is one person or 59 people. Like, if one person can walk away from this feeling a little bit more comfortable going to talk to someone about anything that's bothering them, then I feel like we've done our job.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, again, this isn't a serious stream, but I think that this conversation is super important. I think that it's like a genuine situation that probably more people who are willing to talk about it experience it.
Correct. For sure.
Like, it's happened to others and they just haven't had somebody or anybody that they feel comfortable talking to it about. And I think that that's kind of like, it's okay. And that other person doesn't have to be comfortable listening to you about it if you want to talk about it. Like,
exactly. It's not about the other person.
It's funny because I took a Jess Sims run this morning. And you all know I love my Jess Sims. She's like, Jess, if you're out there watching, like, yes, I'll marry you. It's okay.
Excuse me. I think I have a say in that.
But she was doing I did a Say Yes ride, I think it is. And
it was
the Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Has some play in it. I don't know exactly what she writes for it or something.
Who is Shonda Rhimes?
I have no idea, but I heard her name during the run. So, something that she said was saying, I'm going to butcher this, but it wasn't from Shonda Rhimes. It was from Oprah, which, God, I mean, Oprah's a gift to the world. And Oprah said something like, saying no, when you like don't want to is what is it? It's like a guilty. I don't know what she said. I'm butchering this, but the whole point of it was that saying no is okay, and you don't have to justify it or like quantify it with anything or
Literally
wrap
just
it
no.
in a bow or anything. You say no, and that's good enough. And if you say no and then like sugarcoat it, then you're just kind of doing it
It's
out
okay
of
if
guilt.
you're not who. Oh, never mind. I thought it was related to what you said.
Wait, why
can you
don't
say it again,
people,
Chris?
Heidi, why, I don't remember the quote. I have no idea. Heidi, why don't people like Oprah? I thought she's fabulous.
There's a couple of messages I wanted to touch on. Lana, first off, thank you for sharing that story, because I think that it's important for people to see what they're feeling in the moment. Doesn't necessarily need to be what it's always going to be like. And I think it is a difficult thing to sometimes share. But I think, again, the more we share these stories of our lives, the better off we'll all be in the end.
Kitty, I love
So-
that no is a complete sentence.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Jess was saying that during the run. It was like, no, like you can say no, period. And it doesn't have to be no with an emoji, like a smiley face emoji, no with a ... no, because we all know what that means. No with like an explanation after it just can be no. Like, do you want to do that? No, I don't. That doesn't fit my fantasy. You can say no. There are two things that you can say that are acceptable. No, and no, comma, that doesn't fit my fantasy.
Both acceptable.
Both are
One
acceptable.
created by the world, the other created by Valentina of Drag Race. Lana said that was the first time that she's ever shared that. That's phenomenal that you were comfortable enough to share that in the space. So, Heidi, this is more and more your safe spacer's name. I love that. So
Lana, I have to say, I mean, I feel like we're among friends here. Like so many of you guys, and we've talked about this like recently, that we just have like this small little community. I don't know. I feel like I know you guys and you know a little bit about us. Lana, we talk about you and like say how much we like wish that you lived by us, because I think we would be really close friends. We say that about many of you guys on this chat. So
I mean,
think we've
like
got,
everyone who's
a
participating,
really
we talk about.
great group here.
Heidi, you mentioned something earlier that said about how if you break your arm, you go get help, right? I felt that concept when it all clicked for me about getting mental health support. The concept of what you said, which is if you have a physical ailment, which is breaking your arm, you go and get immediate help. There's an emergency line for that, right? And so then it's like, why are we putting a whole entire stigma on mental health support when your brain is the entire thing that runs this whole stupid body, right? So why are we not focusing as much energy on that? And someone else said earlier on that they wish that there was a push for a primary mental health doctor as well as your primary general doctor. And I love that idea. I've never heard that as like a potential thing that would exist, but I absolutely love that idea. So
Leanne, you know, I text you every day. So I text you probably more than I text Elias. So you know you're my bestie.
And Pink and I said sick, not weak. I think that word weak is like something that I struggled with my whole life, where there's a lot of talk about if you are away, then you're weak. And if you're weak, that's bad and stuff like that, you know? So all in all, this, I hope, was an experience, something that we dipped our toe into the serious conversation. And I think that it is something important to talk about, share, make ourselves vulnerable, and hope that it affects you in some way, but mostly positive. I'm thinking, you know. So yeah, I'm glad it's becoming more normalized. Mental health is so important, for sure. So many times things can be resolved so much differently and better if there was mental health conversation in the picture, you know. So And by the way, lots of comments have just came through. So if I missed any of your comments, just know that like when we watch these later, we read through all of this, and like I'm sure I'll pick up on what you've all said. I just don't want our silence on certain things to be that like we were like ignoring or something. It's just there's a lot of comments going through. So and yeah, serious conversations are important as the laughter. And Leah, did you see Leah's comment?
No, but I know based on the conversation that it's about her hatred toward peas.
Yeah, because Monster said I love peas. Oh man, I'm just trying to catch up here because there's so much. And FYI, people, lots of PCPs can prescribe psych meds and not just. Yes, totally true. That my primary care. What is it? What is a PCP?
Primary care physician.
Yeah.
Wait, Sophia said something that's really like, I think impactful, that she was at her lowest low. It keeps moving when I'm scrolling up.
I can read it. It's right here.
Depression.
When I was at my lowest low with depression, I text my mom at like 2 a.m. saying, I think I need to go to the doctor. My mom responded straight away with, I'll pick you up in the morning. And she did. She may have saved my life. So listen, that is exactly how that should go. Because when I told my mom, and listen, we all love Cleo, right? Like all is well. This is not like cancel Cleo culture. But what I'm saying is that when I told my mom, when I was much, 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 much younger, that I think that I was like not well, like that I was suffering from depression, and I was still living at home, the answer was, no, you don't. That's not real. You're just sad. You'll be fine tomorrow. Right?
Yeah, but I think, I feel like that was that was the expectation then. Like, I don't think that it's a fault of it was a fault of the times.
Right. Which is why
that I think that was acceptable, and like that's what people thought, and like, you know, people who needed help or should have gotten help. And it's not even like you needed it. Like, it's that you should be getting it.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like that has, like, the tide has turned on that, and it's more acceptable to talk about it. It's more acceptable for people to go get.
Yeah. Look, and everyone is saying like that Cleo didn't know. And
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And because, you know, it's her generation. And I totally agree, because I know your mom and I know she loves you to death, and she wouldn't want anything bad to come of, like, anything bad to happen to you. I just think that's what she was like in her upbringing of you, and her like learning how to be a mom and figuring it all out as she goes along, that somehow it was communicated to her that she needed to, like, that isn't something that you should be experiencing or that you should have to go through. And so it was better for you to kind of just, no, that's not what you're seeing. Like, that's not what you're feeling. You're not like in that situation, and instead you'll feel better tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree with anything that we're saying. It's just at the moment of, it's like the literal last thing that you want to hear when you're putting yourself out there. So
yeah,
awkward,
absolutely.
you know, you're already stressed about it. So, and I'm sure, listen, and I think someone asked, how is Cleo with it now? Honestly, it's not. That will save me and my family for another Just Chatting one day. Things are well enough. Let's just put it that way. And I asked my PCP about the all memory. And she says, I was told there was nothing they could do for such things. Wish that she would have given me the option to talk to someone about my concerns, especially since my insurance requires referrals to pay for anything. Yeah, listen, also like a PCP, a real quality PCP is like, you know, such an important part of this all, because my doctor is so great, and like the sequence of events that helped me get the help that I needed were also great.
No, I mean, I'm super thankful. I went to him for years and years and years as my like general practitioner, and then I was like, you like really didn't have a doctor. Like, you went to like a couple, but no, not like a formal, this is the doctor that you go to. And I was like, you need to go to him because he's just so easy to talk to. You can ask him anything, and he'll like explain it with like some scientific background,
he's
but
so
he'll
great. He's
also
so
then
funny.
kind of, give you his perspective and like the human interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And
When I
I
went
think it
that one
was-
time, I forget why. When I went, and it was during COVID time, and I just kind of asked him.
I think
like,
you were getting the antibody test.
Oh yeah, I was getting an antibody test, and I just asked them about COVID, and when I tell you, it was like 2 hours later, and he's still going on, and it was fascinating just listening to him. But at some point, I was like, okay, just can I get jabbed, please? It's time. So listen, on a little bit of a lighter note, I am seeing 50% of our messages, including like some serious conversation, and then 50% of our messages, including conversation about peas, like PEAS. Before we get to the peas, though, I just want to read Heidi's message. Excuse me.
I love this just chatting that it's like we are vulnerable and we can chat with you guys about certain like really important stuff, but also talk about how Leah hates peas and needs to destroy them.
Yeah. It's so funny to me.
A peas poll, we need that.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna do that. I will make a peas poll. Before I do the peas poll, which is such a weird thing to say. One thing that I want to sort of circle back on. This is one of the final.
You had to
things.
read Heidi's message, though. I thought.
Yeah. It's just there's like a lot of content that I want to sort of summarize right now. Something that I want to say is that a lot earlier on in our stream conversation, like one of the earlier episodes, there was a point where someone asked me how I relate to my students, like the younger generation, and I think now that you kind of all know my thoughts on this whole conversation that we just had today, I think what I tend to do is think of myself in the situation of, we're all in agreement that mental health has now become a conversation point, right? But from when we were younger, it wasn't so much that. So if someone like me came to my mom and said, I feel like I'm suffering from depression, and she says, no, you're not, that's not a thing, we all kind of agree that's incorrect, right? So I try to be that person where maybe there's something I don't understand, but I'm not dismissing that as being a real thing, and I'm not going to dismiss them from feeling that thing. Do you get what I mean? So like at the end of the day, if there are students who feel a certain way, for example, pronouns, something as simple as pronouns and they, them is not accepted by most of society at this point. And even teachers who I teach with don't agree with they, them. That is not up to the teacher to decide what the student feels most comfortable being pronounced, what pronouns they're going to be using. And so what I try to understand for myself is, or keep in the back burner, is I may not understand this moment of what they're going through, but I can assure you it's real. And at some point they're going to need help. So let's be the help that they need right now. Right. So that's what it is that I think makes me be related to students so much more than I think other teachers. Oh, good. Jody picked
Naked Trolls
for our next game, Valheim. So
Valheim
anyway,
is fun to play.
I know it is super fun to play. So with that said, I'm going to initiate a poll.
While the poll is running, I want to talk about a couple of food items. We're going to change gears a little bit here from serious to...
Well, yeah, can you just start the poll about the pea... not the poll. Just let's talk about why we're talking about peas.
Leah hates peas.
Yeah.
That's full stop. Like that, how we say no is a full sentence, like period, end of statement. Leah hates peas. That's it. That's the statement.
What's my question going to be about peas? Like, do you like peas? Yes or no? Or is it like, are peas canceled? Yes or no?
I think, I think, do you like peas?
Do you like peas? Yeah,
yes
because
no?
the other way is a leading question. Do you like
So I feel like they're, like I don't have a problem with peas. Honestly, the thing that I wanted to say is that I really don't think I have a problem with many foods. Like do you agree? I'm pretty open with most foods.
You are. Okay, listen, folks, the poll is starting. You have 5 total minutes to vote on your pea, Joy. So I'm doing that now. It should be up.
Oh
Go
my God,
for it.
Leah's going to spend all of her Bambi points to put in 1,000,000 points to peas. Hatred.
The poll can be, do you enjoy peeing? I am
Doggy,
dead.
we missed it. We should have
That
made
is
it that.
so funny. But it's boring AF, and it just says, do you like peas?
The only thing that I can't get over and is gross to me is
Can I guess it?
yeah.
Okay, he, every day, 3 times a day, talks about how he cannot stand the bechamel sauce. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes, 100%.
Which is on top of this Greek food called pasticcio.
Disgusting. It's
Literally,
disgusting.
he, like in his sleep, when people sometimes sleep and talk, he sleeps and says bechamel is disgusting.
It's so nasty. That is my only thing that I don't like to eat. Everything else, like, you know how
Oh, geez. I don't know why I still have peas. There was a massive caterpillar infestation, and when you stepped on the caterpillars, their insides were like peas. There were too many not to step on them.
oh my God.
Oh,
That's like a
God.
horror movie. Do you know that even like when I've gotten sick from foods, people get like food aversion. You get that really badly. I don't feel like I get that. Like I feel like I would still just the next day if I would go eat Jack in the Box.
No, I can't even
Like
think about it.
after the experience that I had at Jack in the Box that you guys heard about on an earlier episode in Santa Barbara, I would, if I wasn't vegetarian, I would house a Jack in the Box meal.
Not even a little bit.
And
Go ahead.
but like I don't know what was I going to say? I was going to say something like along those lines that I don't really have like aversion to food except for bechamel sauce on top of pasticcio. It's like it's literally curdled cheese
So
phlegm on
let's-
top of pasta. It's nasty.
Let's rewind a second and said, Leah Marie also just spent $5 to sway the people. Can't. So, pasticcio is a Greek food where you layer a combination of meat crumbles, like ground meat, pasta, a little bit of tomato sauce, and a whole lot of bechamel sauce.
It's like it's like phlegm. It's like if you have pasta, you know how we were talking about crumb cake earlier and how the best crumb cake has like a really thin layer of cake at the bottom and then like a gigantic layer of crumbs. Pasticcio is like a tiny little sliver of pasta that you want to eat and then a whole lot of phlegm at the top. It's nasty.
Chris is being dramatic. And let's make it next Saturday. Oh, that's interesting. That's
Kyle,
fun.
I will starve. That I will not eat.
Yeah, Doggy Pack also. Wait, flan.
No,
Oh.
flan is like
Phlegm.
flan is like the
No, this has nothing
Spanish
to do with flan.
is
Flan.
like the Spanish custard. This is phlegm. It's literally like somebody like was sick and like had to clear their throat and they cleared their throat like a giant. Cleared their throat on top of this pasta.
Bechamel
casserole.
is like cum, said Bella Meg. Let's face it.
It is.
Earlier, I wanted to comment, and then now it's like way too long. But Heidi, you posted about the differences in our eating habits, and for sure, the younger generation, especially when I consider how I grew up in Greece, which was all very natural food, to here, which is most everything like processed or preservatives or whatever, very, very different. So certainly that is all contributing to the whole thing for sure.
Leah's computer is freezing from voting 10,000 times to no.
No, from voting no. Oh, did she
she's
actually?
frozen?
Oh my God. I'm going to view the results. We have, how much time is left in the poll? I think it's still going. If you don't see the poll, there we go. It ended. The poll ended and oh my God, Leah and Lana contributed points. So Leah contributed bits and Lana contributed points, like channel points, to sway the decision.
God.
So the results were that 494 points or whatever. Holy moly.
Oh
Jody.
my God, Jody.
I think that brings us to our goal. We are officially gonna be with a new emote this weekend. I cannot even. Unbelievable. We have no, look, the one time I was gonna use applause and we have nothing.
Well,
can we do this?
so lame.
That is fantastic.
So Leah still, that's how elections work.
That's totally true. Oh my God, you two
Jody,
are so
thank
funny.
you so much.
Jody, I can't even. You're all just amazing. So, you're all wonderful. So,
oh wait, this is what I wanted to, it just came back to me. I'm talking about food, how people get like sick of food. I don't get sick of food. You know, like I could literally eat the same thing if I like it every single day and I wouldn't be mad at it. And you know, we've talked about working at McDonald's before and people were like, oh, well, once you work at McDonald's and you eat the food all the time, you're like never going to want to eat it again. Oh no, I don't care. I will still eat McDonald's and like not be mad at it. So I think I'm definitely more open to food than you are, but
thanks, Chris. Can you just actually pull that like away? I don't need it behind me. Or is it dangerous?
Yeah, you do that.
Okay. Sorry. The cleaners put it there. Okay, so the P results are they went away, but it was 58% no by 494 points, which all apparently came from Leah and Alana, and then yes was 42%, which is 359 points. So Jody, thank you again. You're wonderful. And Chris,
look at everybody thanking Jody. How sweet.
I know, it's amazing. Chris, I'm the same with my whole like being able to eat the same thing all the time.
I think we're really both that same way, and so we're kind of like good together with that.
Creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Can I have some? Someone earlier just said, you know that Miss Lana, your points can't erase peas.
No, wait, Alana liked peas.
No.
Did she say she doesn't like peas?
That's why she voted no.
Oh, I didn't see. I thought
the whole thing, her and Leah ganged up. And peas are now canceled. Right?
I feel like I like this wine more now and I like would change my vote.
Give peas a chance, says Mega Mag.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that, Alana.
No, yeah, she hates peas. And Leanne said, I meal prep, so I eat the same thing for the week. I am the same way. I can do that. When I used to work at a Barnes and Noble, and maybe one day I'll share the story of my boss. The day that I quit, why I quit.
Wait, did you really quit that day?
Oh, I mean, full stop. The next day I went in, I went into her office. I guess I'll just share it with you now. I was being made to feel bad for calling out, and I wasn't feeling well, and I called out, and my boss was like, she went on a rampage of how could you possibly call out on a day like today when you know it's going to be a bad shipment, and how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? All I do for all of you is work myself to death for you, and you know that I would cut my wrists open and make my blood splatter for you. Like, as in, what she was implying was she's working herself to death for us.
I feel like that is another, like,
She needed help.
Yeah,
Big time. And so the next day, this is already at a point where I was deciding whether or not I wanted to continue working there. And the next day I went into her office and I'm like, we need to talk. And she's like, oh, is this about yesterday? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, so I'm really sorry about that all yesterday. You know, it was just a really busy day. And apparently the Barnes & Noble truck crashed into the side of the building, which like that's what caused her to like reassess her wording to me. And so I was like,
wait, that day,
literally the day that I called out, she called me an hour after I went to bed, after knowing that I'm gonna quit. Like mentally I gave in and I'm like, I'm gonna quit, so I'm comfortably going back to bed. So I woke up again, she called and she said, hey, Elias, so you know that conversation earlier? Well, I believe in karma, and I just want to apologize for how that went down, because after I had that conversation with you, I mean, it was just her yelling at me, the Barnes & Noble truck dropping off the shipment crashed into the side of the building and destroyed the back wall. So in her mind, she feels that her actions of yelling at me is what caused the crash, which is why she apologized, right? Like, think about that. That's what caused this person to do that. Thanks, MCon, for cheering. So at the end of the day, I quit and I said to her, that's why. That's not how you treat your employees. Bye, see ya. And I was like, not to toot my own horn, but one of the better employees that worked there. And then I went home. I'm now jobless. And guess what happened? That same day. Oh, thanks, Leah.
Leah. Oh, you're so sweet.
You're all just ridiculous. That day, I went home and there's a voicemail on like our old like tape player voicemail box at the home. And it was Apple asking for an interview. Can you even?
Do you think this is a serious question, and we've never had this conversation because you all know that we met through Apple. So, and we always like we talk about this regularly. Like, what would have happened if we didn't work together? Like, would we have met? Would our lives be totally different? Like, how would that have all played out? We went to the same college together for the first semester, and we were on campus together, but we never met there. If you were then at Barnes & Noble and you didn't have that terrible experience, do you think you still would have went and applied, or would you have been like complacent in a role that you had and not applied to Apple?
Well, no, I applied to Apple about a year earlier. Not a year, I'm being dramatic, but it was a long, you know how Apple like goes through the way they go through this stuff. Mm-hmm. So I had applied a really long time ago beforehand. Kitty Sanchera.
Oh, thanks, Kitty.
I had applied a long time ago, and it was because I was so enamored by the product. I believed in the product. I know that sounds corny because it's like a company, and like, why am I like this little peon? Sorry, Leah. I hope that didn't trigger you. Person who's so committed to this company. But it's so corny, but there was something I genuinely felt about the environment of Apple. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I know that Apple would be cool with me being gay, which is a thing I hadn't felt up until that point. And so even at Barnes & Noble, I wasn't gay. Like, I didn't talk about that for the most part, except for like a few folks who I spoke with, but I wasn't like out. And so then when I applied for Apple, it was very much like this idea that this could be me fitting in, and I'm passionate about this stuff, and I love reading, but it was fine. But you're not, I don't know, like standing up for the book and like sharing this book with everyone.
I think because there are so many books, it's kind of like diluted and like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a definitive product at Apple, but in Barnes & Noble, it's kind of like there are a lot of good books, and it's like, which book would you stand up for?
Yeah, know? Leah, believe it or not, I am a homosexual. And so is Chris. Cheering, I think, works from in the text field to the right of it.
There's a little like diamond.
Yeah, and I think that we don't have like a special like Airstreamers version of that, but I think that's how you get. I think you have to pay to buy cheering points, and then you use those to cheer. So when I applied and I didn't hear back from Apple, I just thought like, well, there's that. And so when I quit, which I had been planning on doing for quite a bit of time because I just really couldn't stand this boss, coming home and hearing that voicemail was bonkers. And so then I called all excitedly and I had an interview like the next week. Sorry, I have the hiccups. The next week or whatever, I had an interview. And I sit down at Short Hills where I worked. And I was worried about this interview. I'm like, okay, I need to say all the right like buzzwords. Do you know that I remembered like I was practicing what the apps of iLife were? Do you remember iLife?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And iWork?
Yeah.
And all of these things. I had an iPod. I was one of the first people to have an iPod. And so when I see the man coming towards me to interview me.
Who interviewed you?
Do you know who interviewed me?
Oh,
You
I know who. I know who.
This man, when I tell you life-changing man, he was 9 feet tall. He was, there you go, Leah. Thank you. He was 1,000,000 feet tall. He had all these piercings on his ears, like all up and around his ears. He had really white hair, which kind of led me to think that he was just a lot older. And his name was Dirk Snowden the Third. All right.
He was awesome.
And so to understand that like this is the world I'm stepping into, I was like, please take me. I'm coming into your arms. This is where I belong.
Sam and Watson, if you told him his name was a porn name, he would love it.
Do you know what he used to do? This is how perfectly he would agree that this is his porn name. So in the middle of every random conversation, this man would throw the word roast beef into the conversation because he just wanted to see how people reacted to randomly hearing the word roast beef. Thanks, Pink NS. We might end up with 2 emotes tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Pink NS literally is tuning in from an earlier time zone and like normally watches our streams after they air and taking some time to tune in and subscribing or gifting a subscription to others. So thank you so much.
Seriously, thank you. You're all wonderful. So yeah, Dirk Snowden III would talk about, so I see that your iPod is frozen here, so I'm just going to roast beef and use this to reset this so that I can blah, blah, blah. And he would say it so quickly and like unassumingly that you're in your mind, you're probably like, what? Did I just hear that man say roast beef? And they probably went home.
Do you
and,
know?
like, told the people that.
No. There's a movie where they say that.
Roast beef?
No. It's like where they randomly add a word in. It's the one with the schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Willy Wonka?
No.
I think he still works for Apple, Kyle.
I don't think he does.
Oh, does he not?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I know that his wife is a doctor or a nurse or something, and they have a kid.
But there was a
Super Troopers?
Super Troopers. Yeah, I think that when the one cop pulls some meow. Yeah, thank you, doggy. When they pull over the person,
Leah too.
they're saying he adds the word meow into the conversation, and I think that Dirk invented that and was saying roast beef before Super Troopers.
So it was just a way to put it in there to like confuse the person in a way.
And because like if you imagine you got pulled over by a cop and he just randomly was like, "Can I have your meow license?"
Yeah, and then
you would be like, "What?"
Like, you know, and then he might be like, okay, so I see here on your birth date it says meow that you are this way and blah blah blah, and you're
Yeah.
like, what am I hearing?
Yeah, you're
That's
like,
what's
"Oh, I'm
going
gonna
on.
meow a ticket for you."
So all that to say that I got my job at Apple. He loved my interview and I immediately fit in. I met a bunch of cool gays and everyone was like a weirdo, like a total like hippie, hipster, Brooklyn, gay, lesbian, I mean, one of the and also old too, like ageism wise, like we had 18-year-olds working, and we also had like 70-year-olds and more working.
Pink NS
So,
is cheering us.
oh, thank you. PSAPs are still trash. They are beautifully delicious, Leah. I like when I smush them all and I just spoon them into my mouth like creamy green
sometimes
custard.
I just pour a can into a bowl and I just squeeze them until they come between my fingers, and then I just like drip them into my mouth.
Oh, wow. You
Yeah.
went real far with
That's
that.
exactly how I normally eat my peas.
Katie Sand said, friends told me that I gave my calicos porn names, Amber, Star, and Ginger Bear.
Alana, I still love you though.
I paid for that highlight. Yeah, you could do that, Leah, but not with, I don't think you pay money for the highlight. I think you just use your Bambi points. Listen, if you are just joining us, there's a lot that's going on right now. We have gone through the whole just
Yeah,
gamut
we've
of
run the
stuff.
gamut on this.
Yeah, we're all going to lose subscribers. So, couple of things. If you are unaware, there are things called Bambi points at the bottom, which are the little Airstream icon that you can use to do things with. There are also cheer points you can use. Those require money. Those are like different from the Bambis because you're paying for them. They're kind of like in-app purchases, so to speak. And then there are the following and the subscribing part. So feel free to explore all of that. I want
Are
to
smashed
do.
peas a British thing?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't have a clue what is happening. I feel like Eloise. I don't know what's happening either. But you know what's cool, Leah? Next to your name, there's a little cheer icon, like a diamond. And for Kitty Sand too, like anyone who's cheered shows us that that's been the case.
No, and I think there are gifts next to people. I mean, everybody's got.
I mean, it's like too much.
There are all sorts of icons on names. Everybody is giving
Jody.
things around, and
Jody, is that for real? A woman I know, says Jody, named her cats Pestilence, War, Famine, and Death.
oh my god, that's so
Thanks,
heavy.
Patsy.
Thanks, Patsy.
Bella said, I'm going to start talking about tomatoes to make Elias puke if this doesn't help. I don't think that I hate tomatoes as much as Leah hates peas. I love how peas come out the same way they go in as corn. Is that true? I can't wait to go out to the clubs in a pizza. Like, I cannot. I know this is a controversial topic in this house, but I was today years old when I found out that Seamus Finnegan is Irish and blows shit up in Harry Potter. Wow.
Wait, who's Seamus Finnegan?
He's one of the, I could see his face. He's one of the
oh, Leo with the pride flag.
Harry Potter people. I see his face. There's no reason for peas to exist. Oh my God, I love tomatoes. Good peas, bad. Oh, tomatoes good, peas bad. Got it. Listen, we have a giveaway to do.
Oh yeah, let's try doing that. Let's say
Doggy said, Elias, I've never eaten a whole tomato, just marinara sauce. You were brave to eat that tomato. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Bella said, who said Harry Potter?
why don't I wait? So how do we do this? I feel like
Okay, everybody listen. Just let me give some rules.
there are specific rules, and y'all need to pay attention to the rules right now, so that it doesn't.
Thanks,
break.
Pink NS. Listen, everyone. So this is what's going to happen. We are going to move forward with a giveaway. This giveaway is going to be something small, and we're going to mail it to you. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what it is until after because I don't want everyone to be like, oh, yeah, I don't care and whatever. I want more people to participate in
But
this.
it's personal.
Yeah, it's very personal, and I'm curious to see how this works. Okay? So this is how it's going to work. You need to type in, not yet, so don't do anything yet. Everyone relax. But you need to type in the word giveaway when I tell you. And for how long did we say? Are you going to do it for?
I think it's any time. So I feel like we've had it open, so it's keeping track of the chat.
And then we roll it.
And then I
after
think when we
decide?
roll it, but they can only say this, you can only say this thing once.
Okay. so-
Otherwise, you're disqualified. And listen, we don't make the rules. This is something that the Twitch gods have assigned to us, and you just need to follow the rules. So you can only say it once in the chat.
Patsy said, wish I can get Muskrat logo stickers. I love stickers. So did you say it? I wasn't paying attention.
No, I'm not.
So the word that you are going to say, and by say I mean you're going to all have to just type in this word, nothing else, just the word, is going to be giveaway when I tell you to, not yet. When you type this one word, give away together, when I tell you to, what's going to happen is you will enter one entry. But it's weird, and it will automatically mark users as ineligible if you post that word more than once. Does that make sense to you? So the word is giveaway, and when you type giveaway, don't do it yet, that will allow the system to capture that as an entry. But if you do a second giveaway because you're like a cheater, then it will mark you as ineligible. Leah Marie says one word giveaway together. I see what you did there, Leah. But see, look, it says 0 eligible users. Why?
Because she didn't say, you just have to say the word
Oh.
giveaway. It's one word, GIVEAWAY.
Let's try it. So we are ready to roll. Go for it. Just the word giveaway. One word. So start typing that in if you'd like to be considered for the entry. It's not working. Why is it not working? Okay, wait. Everyone pause. Do you have to hit like... No, everyone stops. Everyone stop. Look, they're all going. Everyone's going. Oh, do you have to roll it now? What if you just try it?
It says no eligible users to give away.
Why? I'm seeing it there. It's case insensitive. What are we doing wrong? There are no eligible. Okay, so this is why we're doing this, because we need to learn how to make it work. Yeah, try it again, Chris. No, we would see the names on the left there. Total fail.
Should I come back in?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe because it timed us out.
Let's try it again.
Oh, it still says 0 users eligible.
Go to keyword and let's try the... No, there's nothing in the keyword. And wait, enable. Hit enable. Okay, can someone just type in giveaway? Just the word giveaway.
It's so broken.
No, it doesn't work.
And there's no way to test this
I
beforehand.
know. That's the worst part about this. Unless we make like a fake account and then try it.
Okay, well, what we could do is...
Yeah, let's do the number thing.
Okay, so let's...
I'm going to write a number down to prove that that's what it is.
Yeah, no, this is easier. I
Okay,
think.
everyone stop. It's broken. It doesn't work. Disaster. So I'm picking a number right now, Chris. Okay? I'm writing it down. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, so I picked the number, circle, block this game, send. I picked a number just now that I wrote down in this book. Like I legit, it's confirmed, it's locked in, ready to go. So what we need to do, if you'd like to participate, you're going to start picking a number from 0 to 100. This is a terrible way to do this, but there's no other way. So everyone in order, just start for the next, minute.
So for the next minute, pick a number between 0 and 100.
Number.
Those
Or word, doesn't matter.
I think if whoever is closest, if the number isn't picked, will be the one to win. Oh,
we got a winner.
we have 2 winners.
No, one. Yeah, but it was going to be first. Yeah. So do we stop it? Wow, that's crazy that they got it. All right, so
Crazy.
I'm confused. Is there some sort of like mirror on me? Can you see did everyone see what I did? Because the number has been guessed and I'm blown away by that. The chances of that are crazy.
Wait, can I pause it and see what are we giving? I'm pausing for a sec.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to tell the number?
Yeah, so listen, I'm completely blown away. So the number that I wrote down here, if you can possibly tell, because this camera just, there we go. No. Okay, do you all see the number? That's what I wrote down in my little book, 37. And the first person to guess that was Ralphsia, Pacific Ocean Plan, with 37. And then, weirdly enough, Mozzie said it, and then keep going, and then Sophia was here, and then Bella said it, and then Sia's daughter said 37. All of you did it, but the first person who did it was Pacific Ocean Plan, which is Ralphsia.
And Katie.
Oh, is that why you all picked 37? I don't even know that I'm 37. I don't know my age. I just randomly picked 37. I can promise you. I don't know how old I am. I have to ask Chris all the time. And that's like truth be told. So, Ralphsia, you will hear from us. I'm going to ask you for some info so that we can send you. What we are going to send you, by the way, is going to be a like a little Polaroid, a little tiny picture of Eloise, and a Muskrat Nation sticker.
I am taking a pee break and keep up
Chris is, folks, this is first time ever. Chris is taking a pee break before me. And I don't even need to pee. So this is going to be, Sam and Watson, the first of many of these that we're going to be doing. What we're trying to do right now is just make this work. Not this busted ass way of writing it in a book, but like I want the computer to just pick a person for us to win. So that way in the future, if we decide to go even crazier with the things, we can do that. You know, where did Tater Tot come? Oh, Tater Tot. Look at how cute Tater Tot is. I can't even. MCon cheered. Thank you. Tater Tot. Do you all know, like, you all know we love the Muskrats, but when one of them isn't feeling well, like when Tater Tot wasn't feeling well, all I want to do is just give him, like, squeeze him so tight and make him know and tell him that I wish he were better. And yes, he is totally fine. The other day, by the way, I didn't post this because I'm sure if I posted it on Muskrat Nation, people would lose their mind. But Tater Tot was on the top of my door, like the door in the bedroom, like he normally is. And he fell off the door. And he perfectly did a thing in midair and landed, and like all was well. He's totally fine. Nothing is hurt. But he basically fell off the door. So yeah. Animal love like is like nothing else. I
Wait, so
agree.
who
Look.
else? Who was on the list of like people who guessed 37?
I forgot. It's way up. Oh, look at this little muskrat.
So
Don't squeeze the poop machine. I was just saying how much I love tater tot when like I was specifically saying when the muskrats don't feel well, like the extra bit of love I feel for them, even if I don't think there could be more love, you know? So, aw, tater tot, muskrat love. Look at you, tater tot.
So what do you think? Should we go to?
I have a Can Chris Get It that has nothing to do with anything, and we may have already even done it, to be honest, but I'm just curious what you think.
Yeah, let's
So-
jump into it.
Patsy, I actually have a video of it because we have a camera in that room for the muskrats. And so I woke up in a panic and I'm like, tater tot. And then he fell off. And then I saw that he was fine. And then I went right back to bed. I'm like, I can't even deal with this right now. So
Sandy, the wine definitely got better.
Leah Marie redeemed the language lesson for 400. Here's what I'm going to say. The lesson tonight is wine. The word for wine.
No, you've given this one.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Oh. Give me another one. Oh no, that's not a good one.
You taught the word thank you the last time.
Yeah.
What is please? Or you're welcome.
Thank you was Efkaristo. And you're welcome is Parakalo. Paraklo. Parakalo.
Unaki. Leah, we've already taught that
Leah,
lesson.
We went down that path already. Peas in Greek. I don't know the word for peas.
Chrissy's asking, how do you say I love you or in Greek? I can teach that one.
How do you say love in Greek? Yeah. How do you do it, Chris?
I know Saga Po.
Yeah.
So that's like I love you.
Yeah.
But how do you say love?
Agape.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a play off of that.
Uh-huh.
There is an amazing performance from Eurovision for Sagapo. It's the title of the song is called Sagapo. So I'm writing it in my notes so that when I get
it's so bad.
when I get to the reference points of this, whoa, tater tot. Get outta
Hey,
here.
tater tot. Oh, look,
Just
now
push
he's
him off there.
tater tot.
He's
Stop.
attacking her. This is, you know how we always talk about tater tot having that one moment in the day where he like attacks, and like punches someone. That's what he does. Wait,
Look
what was I
at-
doing, Chris?
We were going to do Can Chris Get It?
No, something else up here. Oh, peas. Someone asked about peas. Let me look that up really quick. I'm curious how you say peas in Greek because I don't think I know the answer to that.
Tater tot, you pissed off Eloise.
Ooh, weird. So Leah and Alana, do you like peas better, the word peas, or arakas? Greek style peas, arakas. I've never heard that word. So we are going to be moving on to tonight's Can Chris Get It? I'm curious. I feel like I may have done this one before already. And if so, I apologize. It was last minute. We like just finished up with our friends socializing in the backyard. I took a 10-minute nap beforehand. So are you ready, Chris?
Yeah. Give it to me.
So tonight's Can Chris Get It has, this is literally my favorite movie. 100%. I could watch this every day for the rest of my life. So I'm curious to see how many of these names Chris can get. Let's see. The rules are,
No, we haven't done this.
you as a viewer are not allowed to guess or say anything about this picture until Chris either gets it or fails miserably, which is likely what's going to happen. So no one say
What do I have
anything.
to give? Can I give?
You can give their name of the show, of the movie, or their real life name. So Let's see how you do. Can Chris get it?
Okay, so I don't know her name in the show, but on the right is Lorna Doone. And
This is why I picked this one, because did you all just hear? I mean, there are no words here. Chris just said that on the right is Lorna Doone, also known as the cookies that you dip in the tea. Lorna Doone.
the one who's
Incorrect. Lorna Doone, incorrect.
no, I mean it's Lorna Doone. She literally won an Oscar recently, and there was even controversy around her because she hadn't won, I think, or something, and at some point they were
Christopher.
kind of like, oh well, we'll give it to you because the Academy has something. But
Christopher.
I
picked this because the last time we got on this actress, you had no idea. And I went down the path of talking about the girl who I broke her heart in second grade because I said her name was something, something. And it's very similar to this person.
yeah, after the cookie, Lorna.
It is not Lorna Doone. We actually already went over this person from Big Little Lies.
I'm getting so much shade.
Jody said the
Shade
guy in
and
the
love.
denim shirt follows you on Twitter. Excuse me. I had a weird crush on him when I was younger.
Wait, follows you?
No, Jody.
Oh, wow.
Lorna Doone.
His name
That
is like
a whole lot. I'm writing
Grant-
that down.
The guy in the middle is like Grant, right? The denim shirt.
Yes, Dr. Grant.
Is his first name Grant or his last name Grant?
Dr. Grant is his last name.
What's his first name?
Neil. No, I'm sorry. That's his last name in real life. Alan Grant.
Alan Grant.
Yeah, Bella, you still have a crush on him? I don't know why I felt weird saying I have a crush on him or
Hey,
had a crush on
Raisin?
him. I know that guy Chip Ahoy. Bella, he's not going to get his real name. So let's just be honest here. The minimum we can get here.
I think I
Wait,
know
he makes a wine? I'm writing that down in the wine list.
Wait,
Shut up.
the Grant man makes wine.
Yeah, 2 paddocks. That is some weird ass fulfillment there to go from this being my favorite movie growing up to just still to this day, and now using his wine in a wine o'clock. That's insane.
Why not?
I'm telling you, this movie.
I don't think I ever got that from him.
I think it's because I used to want to be an archaeologist, and he like fulfilled all of my fantasies for that. And like I know that a lot of people like the one in the back that I don't want to say his name on, but I was all about the one in the front.
I mean, there was not a party in the front or business in the back or any of that. I didn't want any of this. Like nobody was attractive to me.
Not even the lawyer on the left.
No.
No, I'm kidding. He was not attractive. At least for me. Everyone can love who they want.
Okay, well, the left person had Esquire after his name.
Who?
The lawyer.
Oh my God, Chris.
I mean, does anybody listen? Nobody knows his name.
That's totally true. You don't need to say his name. I agree with you.
Do you know his name?
No idea.
Oh,
I'm trying
well,
to look
this is a sham of a game
First
show.
of all,
then.
can you talk about what is this that we're watching?
Yeah, can Chris get it?
What movie is it from?
Oh, Jurassic Park.
I actually don't even think he's on the cast list on the left.
Stop it.
That's terrible.
No,
I mean, he has to be on the
on the
cast
cast list.
I can't find him unless he's really, really old now. He's really, really old now. What? This is him.
Chris grew up Amish. Basically, Leah. No.
Oh my God.
No, do you know what?
This is him.
Because this was in the 90s, right?
Look at my camera.
That is like
this
25
is that
years
man.
ago.
I am dead. Oh my God. Is he still alive? He's 73 years old. Holy moly. So he was 53 there, which
Yeah, it's
he
like
looks
20
good for 53, right?
1994, 1993. Yeah. MCon, 20 years. I mean, that's like almost pushing 30 years.
Holy moly. Okay, so you didn't get him, but we all didn't get him.
The guy in the back, I literally follow him on Instagram, everyone, and I know
There was
his-
also another Can Chris Get It with him in it.
yeah, and I know his name starts with an M or something. Michael something. Am I allowed to look at my Instagram account?
No. No. You're not allowed to look at your Instagram account.
It's like Morgan
Cully McCulkin.
Macaulay Culkin.
Culky McCullen. Amcon, the last Can Chris Get It was Big Little Lies.
Morgan Freeman. No, I know who that is. The back guy is like
Michael the Wizard, which is the third twin.
Morgan Mark Liv Tyler.
I will say his name in the movie does start with an M, his last name.
His real name doesn't start with an M?
No.
Then I can't think of his name.
Do you remember Del Toro at Apple?
Yeah.
What was the first name? Jesus Christ, Chris. Literally was just talking about him.
No, I know him as Del Toro.
What's his first name?
James?
Oh my God, you're just impossible to work with.
Keep going, keep going. Give me more hints. Salmon Watson. I feel the same way, Salmon Watson, about myself. I am not delivering
Professor
tonight.
McGonagall, I can't. He dates Little Debbie, but keeps it from
Del
Lorna
Taco.
because she's the jealous type. Doggy Pack. I
you-
don't even understand what you're saying. He dates Little Debbie, but keeps it from Lorna because she's the jealous type. Oh, Little Debbie, the food, and he keeps it from the Lorna food because he's jealous. Got it.
His last name has a
Del
precious...
Toro's first name starts with the letter in which you just said the name of.
J.
Yes, so play around with that name.
James?
No, you said that.
John?
Bye, Leancia. No.
Bye, Leanne. Good night. John?
No. I can't think of anyone else in the world with this name, with this first name.
This is his first name?
Yes.
I follow him on Instagram,
Okay.
people.
At Apple, James blank.
Del Toro.
No! Holy cow!
James who?
The
There's
creative.
Bergold?
Yes, the final part of that name
Gold.
is the first
Gold.
part.
Jeff Goldblum.
Holy mo, we got it, folks.
God.
There we go.
Jesus. His
Oh
name was-
my God.
Oh my
Jeffrey
God.
Del Toro.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Jesus.
I'm sweating.
I apologize, everyone.
Listen, Charlie, after all of what we just went through with that to get there, yes, that deserves all of the bells in the world.
Okay, so the guy in the front, I mean, this is a lost cause.
And the name, and in the name in his movie was what? Oh, okay, sure, Bella. Apartments.com, Mega Meg. Are you being hacked actively?
What is apartments?
I don't know. Yes. The last one that you watched, Leah, it was Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, he does he does ads for apartments.com.
Mega Meg, I swore you were just hacked.
Okay, so who's the guy in the front? He was very adamant about his like delivery of the dinosaurs. He was happy about it, like when he spared no expense.
Yeah. Okay, so who is he? I am learning something about him, and I am absolutely and utterly blown away.
I think he died recently, like the last 2 or 3 years.
Wait. Yeah, he did. No, 6 years ago.
6 years ago? I mean,
Yeah. 7 years ago.
oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders, Leah, that's a good one.
Philip the Wizard, Lorna.
He is.
Yeah, we need to circle back to Lorna Doone.
Why?
It is not Lorna Doone. He's gonna die by the time. He's already dead, Leah. Unless you mean his ghost coming back to haunt us. That's terrible.
Can you give me a hint?
What part? Which one do you want to focus on? Which do you think you know? You don't know his real name at all. I'm just throwing that out there.
I don't think you know his real name.
I didn't until now, and now I know even more.
Okay, so
about
yeah,
it.
let's go with the.
What is the signature? Sign here using your blank. Who the big signature that was in the founding fathers?
Hancock?
What's that person's first name?
John.
Okay, that's his.
yeah, his name is John.
Yeah, and then his last name is like
Amber Thiessen.
No. You know when we go to Christmas when pre-COVID and we both hate the food item that's present?
Ham?
That's the beginning part of
Hamburg.
Nope. What about the opposite of off?
Ham-on. Hammond.
Hammond. Yeah.
Hammond. John Hammond.
Wow, I mean, literally, he's just brilliant. He totally just got that.
John Amber Thiessen. He literally had his name on his little pole with his mosquito.
Jeff Goldblum must have incredible sex because he's married to a much younger contortionist.
Oh, wow. John Hamburglar.
John Hamburglar is amazing. The cats are full.
They are. This is, crisis mode for them.
So Chris, let's just, before we end, look over to the right at Lorna Doone. Mm-hmm. And Lorna Doone was also in Big Little Lies.
Yeah.
And we literally went down a whole path. Oh yeah, Jody, I'm going to talk about that for a sec. We went down a whole path with her. Mm-hmm. And you're telling me, this is why you don't know anything.
I literally forget the
this.
moment. Like the moment that this show ends, my brain is washed. I've learned nothing.
So her name is Laura Dern.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Not Lorna Doone. And over on the white shirt man, his name is Richard Attenborough. Excuse me, I'm burping.
No, I never would have gotten that.
But do you know who David Attenborough is?
No.
He's the man who does all of the voiceovers. You know that year, the show we watched, The Year the Earth Changed on Apple TV Plus, where it showed how the world, how the animals inhabited the world during the year of COVID.
The famous British person?
Yeah. That is his brother.
Oh, wow.
And if you have not watched The Day or The Year the Earth Changed on Apple TV, you definitely should watch. Heidi recommended it to us, and it was fantastic. So, yeah, doggies, that's why I gave him that. So, Ralphsia, we will be messaging you for some info. Let's switch to, do you have the mouse?
I think Lorna Doone, I should get that one.
You do not get that. Go to cameras only. Listen, we have covered a lot tonight. We started with some serious talk. We then went to, I don't know, what was after that?
Peas.
Peas, we went the whole pea route.
We rode the hype train tonight.
We had like 20 million. Look, we have 52 subscriptions, which is ridiculous. You're all absolutely ridiculous. And then we ended with Lorna Doone dipped in our tea.
Sam and Watson, that was not on purpose.
Did you zoom in on your own leg?
I was trying to zoom in on Eloise, and then I just zoomed in on my legs.
You know, I'm pretty sure that you just want to show off yourself.
I mean, what am I showing off?
Your sexy legs.
My hairy legs.
Yeah, you are all inside of our brain because you guessed 37. Oh, right. Lana, the whole fiasco with the peas. So anyway, we are going to head out for the night. And what we're going to do is watch the premiere of Drag Race Australia, which I'm freaking out over. Thank you all for being such wonderful members of this community.
Yeah,
Truly,
I mean,
I love everything about it.
I just have to thank everyone. You guys are all so fantastic. All the participation and everything just makes it so easy for us to hang out and chat with you. And the subs and the passing subs to friends and
it's just
thanking everyone.
Remarkable.
I mean, just what a great community. So thank you so much. I can't thank you guys enough.
You are all awesome, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Airstreamers. Bye, everyone. See ya.
Bye,
Have a good night.
everyone.